Hi, histogram. Histogram is a great tool that we could use it to visualize the data, which means by looking into this chart will help you to understand your data. Do you have the majority of your data above the average or below the average? And this we could take a look into, but just by taking a look into the histogram, you could find where your distribution, what the look of your distribution, what the look of your data. It is very benefit to use histogram in quality. One example, simple example, we could use histogram in the education setting as a professor in the university. I use it all the time to understand how many students achieved above the average score. And this would give me an idea on what should I do in the next semester or the next quiz and so on. So it is a visual tool that I could use it to better manage my quality or product quality or the service quality. The question is how we can create the histogram. There are a lot of opinions talking about the histogram and how to create a histogram. Over the years, I looked into these opinions, I looked into different methodologies, and I finally summarize it in a simple and easy way that will help you to understand how to create a histogram. And these steps is explained in one of the discussions. So if you look into the discussion, I believe discussion 5, you will see these steps. All right, so let's take question number 24 from the textbook. And the question, we have a set of data, 25 set of data, and they're asking us to create a histogram. All right, so the first step you want to do, first of all, as you see, I'm using Excel. Excel is a powerful tool to use it and create so many charts and features to help you manage your quality, manage the quality in general. So we use these charts to go in a presentation for upper management. They would not like me speaking. They would not like to read off the slides, but they would prefer seeing a graph in front of them. Okay, so we have 25 set here as you see in my screen. The first step that I would like you guys to do, it's finding the average. And the average, I'm sorry, not the average, the range. In order to find the range, I used two functions, the maximum and minimum. M-A-X, max, M-I-N, the minimum. So the maximum function will find me the maximum number in between these numbers. They will find me the maximum number in between this set. And the minimum will find me the minimum number. And this, we subtract the maximum minus the minimum to find out what would be the range. So I found the range by subtracting the maximum from the minimum. Second, I will do the number of intervals in order to find the number of intervals. And these basically, what are the intervals? These are the categories that we need to organize the data in it, and how many categories we will have. If you look into the discussion, you will see that the categories, the number of intervals will be the square root of the sample size. And I have the sample size of 25 here. As you see, we have 25 set or 25 numbers here. That means we have 25. The sample size is 25. So the square root for the sample, it would be 5. And these are the number of intervals. And these are the categories that I would like to organize my data in these categories. Category 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we should see 5 columns in order to organize this data. Next, the next step would be finding the width. How big is this category? The width of the column. As I mentioned, we're going to do basically a bar chart. The histogram is a bar chart, but without the spaces in between them. We remove the spaces and it will be together as a bar, as a histogram. So what would be the width for each category? And in order to find the width, you have to divide the range, which is 0.02 divided by 5, and to find 0.004, the width for each category. Okay, now on a side, I want you guys to create a table like this, where it shows the interval, which is the category, and the frequency. It's a frequency table, basically. So the first interval, the first category is 1.116 all the way to 1.120. So from 16 to 20, that would be the width, the four that we talked about it, the width of each category. Then from the second category will be 20 to 24. Third would be 24 to 28, 28 to 32, and the last category would be 32 to 36. Now here's a question. Somebody will say, okay, I see that the 20, for example, it's in two categories. Well, to simplify it, I would recommend you guys to put it on the same category. But in the actual thing, it's this 1.120. It's supposed to be 1.119999999. So it's a little bit before the 20. So once you count the frequency, now once we have to go back to the numbers, and we have to count how many numbers in this category. So if you have a 1.12, don't use it. Don't use it. That would be in the next category. Same thing here, the 24 and 24, it's in category 2 and category 3. Again, this should be 23,99999, etc. But to simplify things, we could say this is the start, the end of the category, and this is the start of the category. Okay, so we have the intervals, which is the categories, and now what we have to do, we have to go and count how many of these numbers will be in category number 1. How many of these numbers would be in category number 2, in number 3, number 4, and category number 5. So we have to count these numbers and see how many of these numbers will fit into these categories. Once we have this table with the intervals and the frequency, you're done. What would be the next step? The next step would be just paper and pencil, create an X and Y axes, and start to draw the bars for each categories with the width. All right, so some people, they would say, okay, well, maybe it's not accurate and it's not nice to present a chart that is something drawn, hand drawn. I agree, and that's why you see I'm going to talk to you about this. There are a lot of templates, Excel templates in the internet. So if you do a simple Google search, you will see a lot of templates about the creating a histogram. And I highly recommend you guys to go look for your own template, a template that makes sense to you. I've selected this because it does make sense to me, and I have to adjust it. To make it exactly fit. It was something for a medical and pharmacy. I will post this onto D2L, this template in particular, so you could use it. However, as I mentioned, I have to adjust it. So in the original chart, it was including all this data, and you could include more. But as you see, we don't have that many categories. We have only 5 categories. So as you see, on the right side of the chart is empty. So what I would recommend, if you double click here, you will see that these numbers has been highlighted. So I would go to the right lower corner, scroll it up until you find until you select only 5 categories, which are the intervals. Okay, I made a quick count. Please double check on my numbers. I'm not 100%. I think I have a mistake here with a frequency. But if I have time, I would go again and double check on my frequency. I did double check on these. I feel there's something wrong, but it is important, and I want you guys to take your time to count it correctly. Just with a busy schedule that I have, and I have to make this video. By the way, this is the second video. The first video I made it early in the morning, and I found out that I don't have any sound. I was muted. My microphone was muted, and I have to do this from home, and I apologize for the quality of the video. But however, I hope this is helpful. There are a lot, as I mentioned, there are a lot of templates that you could use from the internet. One of the templates that I've seen, it's the ASQ template, the American Society for Quality. They're using a different methodology, and as you see, this is if you look into the histogram, it's different than the histogram that I created, and this is might be simple and easy, but I prefer to use the other one. Even though ASQ is one of the leaders in quality, and I would highly recommend to take their templates. But however, for this particular histogram, I would rely on something else. And the reason for that, because this might, when they designed this template, they maybe put 200, the sample size for 200. So they might develop this for a 200 as a sample size, 200 numbers or readings or checking. However, this is another way for doing it. And this is simple. Again, what you need to do is list all the numbers from the question number 24, and it will do the calculation by itself. You don't have to do anything. They will do the calculation, and they will create the chart for you. And as you see, they will count the frequency as well. You don't have to count. However, it's different than what I have. Both are correct. Both are correct. Just as to let you know, both are correct. This is correct and the other one is correct. But again, these are different methodologies, different authors, different researchers believe in different things. So this is okay. Again, I will post this into the DTL just to take a look into it, into the template, and use it. And you probably need to modify it a little bit. As you see, this is on. I've modified this quickly, but you could do a better job than mine by adding more format and more colors, etc. I think I covered everything about the histogram and how you would create a histogram. If you have any question, please let me know. I hope this is helpful. Thank you very much.